Sound check, sound check. Holly Woods here, and I am doing my NAP 303 Module 7 assignment on our holistic first aid kit, what we would put into it based off of the lab kit that we purchased, as well as anything extra. So this is actually really exciting because this is something that I have been wanting to do for a while. I bought Andrew for, my mother bought it for him for Christmas, a med kit. And we also got a suture kit so he can learn how to do all kinds of weird things. But anyway, first of all, one of the major things with any kind of first aid is making sure to take the American Red Cross first aid and CPR classes. I think they're vital. Having been a teacher for many, many years, it's always good to be refreshed. You always forget things, and to have it done every so many years, I think is really important as a holistic practitioner. In the case of severe injuries, always call 911 and or a licensed medical doctor. Remain calm. Make sure the patient is relaxed. Use the arnica. Okay, that can help keep people calm, especially in the case of physical injury. The rescue remedy is nice because it's just flower essence. It's not going to hurt anybody. If they're unconscious, you can wet their lips with the Bach flower. And please keep the bystanders calm, because they're also going to be losing it, especially if it's a loved one who is sorry, I gotta move my notes here. Try not to turn off the video while I do this. All right. Well, in my case, I like variety. I think variety is best. I like to be prepared for various situations, likes and dislikes of a client or a patient, and different preferences, because not everybody is, willing to get a shoulder massage or drink a cup of tea or whatever. You have to kind of find what fits for people or what they're more comfortable with, as well as knowing all of the contraindications of things. If you have any inkling that it might not be safe or have severe interactions with something, you might want to either keep that in your kit with you or just don't have it at all. You can never be too prepared. But work with your strengths and what you know. If you're going to school to be an herbalist, herbal preparations might be best for you. You may not know as much about homeopathy, et cetera, et cetera. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none kind of person, so I like to have just about everything. I also think it would be handy to have resource cards, references, info. For those who are dubious, hand them a card that explains some research or something like that. Now, in a crisis, nobody's going to be reading it. But when they leave and they have that in hand, whether or not it has your name on it or not is excellent, because then they potentially could read it. I mean, they could probably throw it away, but it sometimes is the drop in the bucket that you need for people to start making changes in their life, right? So anyway, so on to what I would put in my holistic first aid kit. Now, I will be honest, I tend to be in the extreme and go, 90 miles an hour. I'd probably put literally everything that our textbook tells us to do and make everything from scratch, not buy anything except the homeopathics. I mean, that's down the road, right? But just love having a variety. And if I could find a med kit that would carry all this stuff with me, I would do it. But first up on the list, we've got our good old Boiron 3C Arnica. Okay, I love Boiron. They have just about everything. I've used their Cycles for menstrual problems, Sepia for mental problems, just about everything. So I don't think I've personally taken the Arnica very often. I bruise so very easily, but it's just a part of my life now. It is a homeopathic. It's used for emotional shock, physical trauma. It even tells you on most of all the little blue bottles these days, it relieves muscle pain and stiffness, swelling from injuries, discoloration from bruising. Okay, so that's pretty simple. And what's cool about it is these are really easy to keep in your purse, in a wallet. if you just don't have room for it anywhere else. Boiron even makes these little little zipper. I think there's zipper ones and then there's closey ones, like plastic like holders for all of these if you have so many that you need that. And what you do is you turn it upside down and click, 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 five clicks. You get 5 of them. They put them on your tongue and you just let them sit. I tell people, don't chew them, suck on them, let them dissolve slowly. Make sure that they get plenty of water to flush it through their system. It can be used if stroke is a possibility. Wish I had known that a couple of years ago when I had a mini stroke. Maybe I would have fared a little better right after. But obviously, things like your kid's soccer game, things where, things like that happen is very useful. You want to give it pretty much immediately after to prevent bruising and swelling. I would additionally personally like to get some arnica cream or use arnica tincture, things like that. I think having some of those on hand would be really handy for me, especially in the case of being around kids and things like that. Then, of course, one of my ultimate favorites, as I am a registered aromatherapist, is, aromatherapy. In our kit, we have clovebud, Syzygium aromaticum. It's clovebud. And then obviously Lavandula augustifolia. I mean, this is just always in a kit. The clovebud is great for toothache. I've used it in homemade toothpaste as well as mouthwash. Great for vomiting, nausea, pain, topically, diluted, of course. Please do not use this for morning sickness. This is not for morning sickness. And then obviously lavender. I mean, we probably go through lavender in this house like we go through water. Topically, it's for burns and scalds, anesthetic for bug bites, headaches, nerves, insomnia. I had a bad case of some armpit rash thanks to some, natural baking soda based deodorant. And I was putting that on daily to help with the smell and 2, to help clear it up. Of course, we ended up finding a much better product that works better. But I mean, I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, I know for a fact because I'm married to him. My husband, Andrew, who is in this class, puts it on literally every night. He puts it anywhere he needs it. And I mean, it's a large bottle and we go through it, believe me. I additionally would like in my kit, there are a lot of them that I probably would, but for sake of time, peppermint piperita would be excellent because it's for gastrointestinal issues and antacid and a carminative. I just think about the situations in which first aid is needed. Things that first aid is sometimes not always such an emergency. It's more annoying things that we want a quick fix for because they're just annoying to us. Carminative helps with gas. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've given that to my parents at my house because they've had gastrointestinal problems, and then included clearing of your nasal passages in the morning because you wake up all snotty and you got boogers and it's gross. So that just helps. And then, of course, heartburn is never pleasant. And so if you have that on hand at dinner or something like that, that can be very useful to someone. So it hits all those kind of those 3, I think, hit on a lot of the major stuff. Obviously, if somebody's having a stroke, there are some things you can do with aromatherapy, but, it's not like that's going to fix the problem. So, we have to be honest with what we have and what it is used for. So as far as that goes, those are the essential oils I would use. One of my all-time favorite, basically holistic protocols is Bach flower. 48 different flowers that Dr. Bach came up with. Just by seeing how people reacted by being around these flowers. I just think that's just amazing. If you notice how I dress or like my house, flowers are everything. Plants, we have plants everywhere. The rescue remedy comes from the Bach company. I don't even really think there's anybody that else that makes it other than the Bach people. But I've had just about all of them. They do expire. Okay, so just by the by, you know that they're going to expire. Use them. There's very, very little, and I think there really isn't any. I mean, it just says keep out of reach of children and poison control because there's alcohol. That's a tincture kind of base thing. But other than that, I mean, there's really not any fear of any death if you take a lot of it. I'm not saying like chug it or guzzle it, but nonetheless, like just be aware of that. I didn't know that until I started going through all of our stuff like essential oils and marking, when I purchased it and how long it had been in the house, and then realizing that these things go bad. So keep that in mind. It's kind of like a homeopathic. It really depends on your constitution. A lot of people don't realize that homeopathics actually, there is a profile for specific things. We use it kind of like traditional pharmaceutical meds, but there's actually like a whole world of like what kind of person should take what at what time. And the same with this. You can go online and in fact at the Bach website and take their personality kind of quiz, and it will tell you which Bach flowers are best for you. It's amazing. And you do that every so often because we go through different seasons and things change in your life, and you may not need it at that time. We've used it for years. I'm bad about consistency on myself, so I'm better about telling other people you have to take it, but I forget a lot. I took mine to work just because that's probably where we're going to need it the most, like mustards for joy, try to keep you happy, especially when, little things tend to like throw you over the edge, like myself. Anyway, so Rescue Remedy specifically is 5 blends, or it's 5 flowers in the blend of flower essences. Okay, so we have Rock Rose, which is for courage and peace of mind. Clematis, focus when you're not grounded. Okay, Impatience, as it sounds, it's for patients with problems in people. I've had that one just alone, and I think we've gone through about 5 bottles. Cherry Plum is for a balanced mind when you're losing control. And then Star of Bethlehem softens the impact of shock. So when you take this when things are just not going well, or even better, as I tell people with all holistic protocols and such, but especially with Bach flower, take it before an event. If you know something stressful, like going and visiting your family and you're just, it's Christmas and you're like, I might kill my mother, it might be bad, I'll go to prison, whatever. Take it beforehand. Take it regularly as you're there. Don't wait till you have a problem to fix it, just like with all holistic protocol. It's great for like bad news and shock and panic. Again, if you're unconscious, still could be used. As I understand Rescue Remedy, they do make a cream. I think you can make a cream of your own if you have a emulsifier of some kind and you put this in. And topically, it can help with like cuts, scrapes, sprains, etc. All kinds of physical trauma as well. So, I mean, I would have so many of these just for the mental health aid alone. I mean, it's invaluable. And yeah, it tells you right here when to use it by May 2024. Good to know. But I would definitely have several of them. I mean, it just really depends on the person. And as I understand it, ACHS used to or still does have a Bach flower certification. If anything, I just love to take the course. I mean, I know so much about it after, I don't know, what is it? I'm 36, so like 26 years of playing with this stuff. And I say playing with it, but reading about it, researching it. So I would love to be able to help people with that. Then on to one of my other favorite things that I work with all the time, pretty much all I do, herbs, dried herbs, fresh herbs, etc., etc. In our kit, we have peppermint, the paprika, German chamomile, which is Matricaria recutita, as well as Yarrow Achillea millifolia. So these, I mean, I wrote down the things these are good for. I mean, it's just the list is long. You know, peppermint, breathing problems, colds, cold sores, fevers, gas, bugs, headaches, allergies, hiccups, digestion, the flu, bug repellent, lice, menstrual cramps, nausea. It kind of hits all of the annoying things that people just want to get rid of. And there are many of those applications that can be used with peppermint essential oil as well, obviously diluted much more. But you know, tea carrying, I mean, I'm probably the crazy lady that carries tea with me in my purse, big jars of tea for people, but whatever. Chamomile, one of my favorite herbs, great for colic, earache. The coolest thing I've made, I think, has been a tincture that has vegetable glycerin in it. And it not only can be used for ear infections, but conjunctivitis as well. It's amazing. Ears, nose, and throat specialists must go through gobs of this, right? Because that's what I think. Great for eczema, fever, headache, insomnia, and our favorite menstrual cramps. I have used this time and time again with several children, especially young kids who have issues and stuff like that. A great refrigerant when paired with raspberry, and very gentle for children and babies. Yarrow is an herb that I have used as a wildcraft agent when I was younger, but I kind of fell out of love with it just because it was so tedious to find where I live here in Florida. So but I love it. It's a great butterfly plant. It's great for bleeding. Yarrow essential oil would be another one that I would keep. It's a great styptic. I know that when my dogs have had their little dew claw gets broke and they've been hurt, I have used the essential oil diluted on them, and it really has helped. It keeps them from licking it because it kind of smells gross, and it had stopped the bleeding. So this is great for cold sores. I need it. Cuts, fever, cough, the flu, diaphoretic as well. So another good one. Really and honestly, I mean, herbs to me are invaluable. So, I mean, there's so many that I would keep around by themselves as well as in blends, even if I could just keep, little teeny jars of it. Because in an emergency, you only need a teaspoon or two anyway for whatever the situation arises. I would definitely say comfrey. I think comfrey salve is, again, you're not ingesting it usually, but is invaluable because I can't think of how many times I've needed it for bug bite, springs, cuts. I get really dry skin on my cuticles and I pick it and then it bleeds and stuff. It becomes infected. So that's a good one for me. Calendula as well as a tincture, a cream, a tea. For a long time, I used calendula pretty frequently just because it has so many uses and it's just kind of pretty in a mix because of all the color. Another one that I think is invaluable are things like alfalfa and oat straw. I've used it for mineral to give people minerals as well as just it's a bland tea, so it helps kind of help the digestive system, as well as I've had a couple of people who have used it for lactation issues. I had a neighbor who she could not lactate to save her life up until that baby was ready to wean. She had her tea, man, that baby had to have her tea. So those are things that if you're someone's having issues and you can help them, that you can do that with. Another thing to note that I hadn't even thought of, which I did purchase recently, is charcoal for food poisoning. If you're out in public now, poisoning with bleach and things like that, that's always great to have, all the accoutrement for that. But think about when you're out in public, when you will have your first aid kit become the most useful is food poisoning. Somebody doesn't feel the best after, and you're just like, I don't know. So, making capsules of that. I just bought some charcoal. Just thinking one day of bulk, it was bulkfoods.com, thinking, that might be useful. I don't know. So I bought it, and our kit, or in our textbook, it even said that that would be a great idea. So I'm like, yay for me. Um, I would have to say that is probably it. Yeah, I think variety is best. Having a great plethora of uses of things, because again, not everybody is into essential oil. If they're not into essential oil, maybe they'll drink a cup of tea. If they don't drink tea, maybe they'd be willing to use a Bach flower remedy because it's just a flower essence. It's less, what's the harm of it, right? Some people are not familiar with homeopathics and it looks like medicine. So why would you take somebody else's medicine? And for people who don't know about these things, it's nice to have a variety on hand. This has been a really great assignment. I'm really excited to share it with everyone and hopefully one day some clients as we get done with this final semester. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please post down below and I'll be happy to answer them. And have a wonderful Sunday.